All right, welcome back to part 2 of the lesson, which is focusing on word problems. So, word problems are always a little tricky, especially when you're multiplying and dividing with fractions. So, I have provided this little anchor chart for you to have when you're working through the problems on your own, and you can even use this when you're doing the exit ticket. So, it would be a good idea for you to screenshot this. So if you're reading a word problem and you're asking yourself, do I multiply? Do I divide? Maybe these questions will help you to decide. So, what we're going to do first is actually go over this problem that was on the exit ticket from Sunday. This was one of the most missed questions, which means a lot of students across the classes missed it. So, I think it's a good idea for us to talk about it. So, I'm going to read the word problem and we're going to talk about some strategies and we're going to look at this little checklist. So, the word problem says 3 friends want to equally share 3/4 of a bag of potato chips. What fraction of the bag will each friend get to eat? Okay, so if I'm looking at this and I'm looking at my checklist, am I supposed to multiply or am I supposed to divide? I want y'all to look at this top one right here on the dividing section. It says, are you dividing a given amount into equal groups? Well, yes, that's exactly what we're doing. We have our given amount, which is 3/4, and we are splitting that up. We are equally sharing it. So equally share are great keywords to help you decide it's a division problem. So we're taking our bag of chips. There's only 3/4 of the bag left, and 3 friends are going to share that. So one of the mistakes that was made when you guys did this on the exit ticket is you knew it was already a division problem because it was a division exit ticket. There were no multiplication problems on it. However, a lot of you switched the order. You did 3 divided by 3/4. And these two problems are not the same thing. In division, you cannot switch the order and still get the same answer. So you have to be really, really careful. 4 bags was actually the answer that was chosen a lot, and that is the answer to this problem. So let's talk about reasonableness for a second. Down here, when you are checking your answer, you always should ask yourself, is that a reasonable answer? Is that possible? Does it make sense? Okay, is the answer too big? Is it too small? Because really looking at these answer choices, we could have eliminated some answer choices because they don't even make sense. So let's think about this. If you have a bag of chips, okay, here's our bag of chips. There's only 3/4. So if I were to split this into fourths, okay, there's only 3/4 of the bag left. So this is how much chips are left in the bag, okay? This amount is being split amongst 3 friends. And that question is asking you, what fraction of the bag will each friend eat? Well, guys, we only have 1 bag of chips. So each friend is not going to get 4 bags of chips. They're not going to get 2 1/4 bags of chips. Your answer has to be a fraction. It has to be smaller than 1 whole. So that tells us the answer has to be 1/4 or it's going to be 1/12. Okay, so now let's go through the dividing steps to see what it was. 3/4 divided by 3. Well, I know if I have a whole number, I have to put it over 1. And then we're not actually going to divide at all. We follow the LMR strategy to change this to a multiplication problem and follow the multiplication rules. So 3/4 stays the same. I'm going to leave it alone. M stands for multiply. We're going to switch it to a multiplying problem. And we can do that as long as we flip the second fraction. So 3/1 is going to become 1/3. So then top times top, bottom times bottom. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 3 is 12. And look, we don't see this answer. Okay, that answer is not there. So that doesn't mean you pick 1/12 because, oh, I got a 12 in my answer. There's a 12 in this answer. Let me just pick that one. No. Remember, always ask yourself, can I simplify this? We can. We can divide both of these by 3 because 3 fits into 12 evenly. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So each friend is going to get 1/4 of the bag. Okay? So that was the answer to this problem on the exit ticket from Sunday. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you 2 more problems, and you are going to try these on your own. Okay, it's okay if you struggle because I'm going to go over them, but I do want you to try them on your own, okay, before you just watch me give you the answer. Now, there's 2. I will tell you one is a multiplying problem, one is a dividing problem, but I'm not going to tell you which is which. What I want you to do is go back a couple slides to the anchor chart, and if you can't tell if it's multiplying or dividing, ask yourself these questions and try and see if that helps you, okay? If you, let's say, solved it as a multiplying problem and you're looking at your answer and you're checking for reasonableness and you're asking yourself, does this make sense? And it doesn't make sense, then maybe it was actually a division problem. So you might have to rework the problem using the other operation, okay? So pause the video, solve these 2 problems. You don't need to write the word problem out on your paper. Just show the work and then press play when you're ready. Let's check and see how you did. Okay, so I will say this first. This first word problem was your division problem. And then this one with Hamda was your multiplication problem. So let's talk about why. I'm going to start with the division problem over here. On a 2-kilometer stretch of road, there is a road sign every 1/4 of a kilometer. How many signs are there on the entire stretch of the road? Okay, so let me draw a quick little picture to help you visualize. I'm going to really draw like a number line. So this is 0. So this is the start of the stretch of the road. Halfway would be the 1-kilometer mark, and then the end would be the 2-kilometer mark. So this is our road, and it's saying every 1/4 of a kilometer, there's a road sign. So if we think about it, how many fourths make up a whole? 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. So 4/4 make up a whole. So that means I take a whole and I split it into 4 equal sections. Okay? And then I take the second whole and split it into 4 equal sections. So here's the first road sign. Here's the second road sign. Here's the third. Here's the fourth. Here's the fifth. Here's the sixth. Here's the 7th road sign. And then here's the 8th road sign. So how many signs are there on the entire stretch of the road? There is 8. So if you think about it, I solved that problem without actually writing the problem out, the division problem out and solving it. I just drew a little picture. But if you can't see that, if you don't have a good understanding of fractions, then you would set up your problem like this. 2 is your total. So in division, the number that goes first is the total. It's the number you're splitting up. We have a 2-kilometer road. So 2 goes first, and then we're dividing it into 1/4 sections, okay? If you were to switch these and write it as 1/4 divided by 2, that would not give you an answer of 8. That would give you a different answer, and it would be the wrong answer, and they would probably have that answer on an exit ticket or a test. So you have to really be careful with division and remember that whatever you're splitting up goes first, okay? So this is a division problem. We know that we have to always put whole numbers over 1. So 2 over 1 is going to be my very first step. LMR So 2 over 1 stays the same. Switch it to multiplying, and then the reciprocal of 1/4 is 4 over 1. Now, top times top, 2 times 4 is 8, bottom times bottom, 1 times 1 is 1. 8 over 1 is the same thing as 8. Okay, just like 2 over 1 is the same thing as 2. Anytime there's a 1 as your denominator, it really has a value of whatever the numerator is. So 8 over 1 is just equal to 8. So that is how you get the answer by actually solving it as a math problem versus drawing it out as a picture. Okay, both strategies work. Let's move on to the second one, which we already know now is a multiplication problem. So if you were solving it as a dividing problem, I would scratch through that work on your paper and write down the work that I'm about to show you. Hamda needs 3/4 cups of sugar to make chocolate chip cookies. If she decided to make 8 batches of cookies, how many cups of sugar would she need? Okay, well, if we break this down, we know that one batch, so here's my one batch of cookies that Hamda is making. I know that that batch needs 3/4 cups of sugar. Okay, but Hamda wants to make more than one batch of cookies. She actually wants to make 8 batches of cookies. So here's a total of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 batches of cookies. So this batch needs 3/4 cups of sugar. This batch needs 3/4. This batch needs 3/4, 3/4, 3/4, 3/4, 3/4. As you can see, Hamda's going to need quite a bit of sugar to make these cookies. So that should tell you when you're looking for a total, that tells you it is a multiplying problem. Okay, if we go back to our little checklist, you can read through the questions. And it says, do you have fractional groups of amounts? And is the problem asking for a total? So this word problem actually fits this very first question. I know it's hard to see now because all of my writing, but I don't want to erase it. But remember, you have access to this anchor chart. So let me go back. Okay. All right, so let me set up my problem. 3/4 times 8. Okay, you could actually solve this as an adding problem too, because what multiplication is repeated addition. You could do 3/4 plus 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 3/4. But I feel just solving it as a multiplication problem is a lot faster, okay? You could also switch the order. Multiplication, you can do that. So you could also do 8 times 3/4 and you would get the same answer. But remember, you cannot do that in division. All right, so first step, just like over here in division, we have a whole number, so we got to put it over 1. Top times top, 3 times 8 is 24. 4 times 1 is 4. Okay, so this is an improper fraction. This would not be an answer on a test or an exit ticket. So we need to convert this by dividing. 24 divided by 4. 4 fits into 24 6 times exactly. So when we subtract, we're not going to get a remainder. So our answer is just 6 wholes. So let's go back and read the question. How many cups of sugar would she need? Hamda's going to need 6 cups of sugar to make her 8 batches of cookies. Okay? All right, so that's it for the lesson. What I want you to remember is here's a little saying to help you remember. Multiplying fractions is no big deal. Top times top over bottom times bottom. Dividing fractions is easy as pie. Flip the second one and multiply. So that's just a little saying to help you remember the steps for multiplying and dividing fractions. I want you now to upload a picture of all of your work right here and then go to Google Classroom to take your exit ticket. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. Bye.